Head of a fish facility at UCL, so we have about 70,000 zebrafish, a small colony of killifish, and another small facility with cavefish in it.
Why are zebrafish used so frequently in scientific research?
So historically they were used for developmental biology, and that's because they are transparent embryos fertilized outside the body, so it makes it incredibly easy to see what's happening in very early stages of development. More recently, they have become popular with a lot of other different scientific disciplines, including things like sleep behaviors. We've done a study on epilepsy. Very wide selection of other things. Lots of cancer studies are done in them, and that's because we share about 70% of our genes with zebrafish, but about 85% of those genes that cause disease in humans are also present in zebrafish.
And what research have you done looking into the conditions, the optimal conditions in which to keep zebrafish in terms of getting consistency in research?
So we've been looking at, so that's my area of expertise, I suppose. We've been looking at all sorts of things, but more recently we've done a study. So we have 5 different rooms that all have zebrafish, and we've been looking at what happens to fish in each of those rooms. So we think that they have similar water quality conditions. We think they are fed similar things, but we have found out that just by moving the fish from room to room, that affects the way that affects their development in many ways, including the size they grow to, how fertile they are, the ratios of males to females, and that's because zebrafish don't have XY chromosomes in the same way humans do. So those things are all impacted by their environment, and it's a greater impact than I think we had initially realised.
Moving forward, what needs to be done to ensure that researchers get the most reliable results from their studies that involve zebrafish?
So that's a really tricky question, because I would love to tell you I knew, but actually I don't really know what is necessary. I think in the very long term we're going to have to start to think about what we're using zebrafish for. But it's very hard to say. Everybody talks about standardisation, and when they talk about standardisation, they mean across all zebrafish facilities. But I actually think that's going to be incredibly hard to achieve, and at the moment, I'm not really sure how we can achieve that. But maybe we have to resign ourselves to the fact that that is perhaps impossible to do, and look at how we use zebrafish in a slightly different way.